podcast, or you just spoil?
No. We probably shouldn't say
You guys say that.
Yeah.
You guys say you're the number one.
Yeah. We're still going to say it.
That's why I started checking before I said it.
I was thinking that in the car. I was
Yeah,
we probably shouldn't say it.
No, say it.
But you know what? Fuck it, you're on our show.
It's a thing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Northern Beaches #1 podcast. I'm Zach, here with Elliot, and today we have the boys from Two Guys, One Car.
Say two girls, one car.
I was not, I swear. So Josh, Carl, thank you boys for coming on.
Oh man,
Thanks for having us.
It's going to be exciting.
No, I'm excited. Now, before we get started, I have to do a public apology for what happened on the way here. So I was running late because I was still working and I knew you guys were rocking up at 4. So where I pull out of my street, it goes onto the main road at Pittwater Road in Narrabeen. I pull out of my thing, guess what the car in front of it, guess what's happening as I'm driving. It's a funeral drive, and I fall behind the funeral car.
No way.
Basically all the way here until you go to the left because I couldn't move because it's school traffic.
Full funeral procession was guiding you to the podcast.
I was the car in between. So if that fan, they're probably fans of the show. I sincerely, I've got to get it off my chest.
So it's like you're in a school zone the whole way.
And I was in the 40 zone down there near Two Hungry Bears, like on the drive. Yeah. I was stuck there, couldn't go right or left because it was school traffic, and I was like, I want to fucking die.
The most stressful thing for Elliot.
You
It
want
was
to
the
swap cars.
most stressful. It's been a bad day, but anyway.
And to make it even worse, here we are. No.
No, this is the highlight, mate. Boys, thank you for coming. I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, we're filming a great podcast today. Looking forward to it. I hope you guys were. Is it weird being on the other foot, being a guest on someone else's?
I'm genuinely nervous right now.
Me too.
That's how we felt when we went on Kashai. Shout out. Our dad. I was like, I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, dude, I think it's the setup because for us it's super minimal. It's like just the phones in the car.
Yeah.
You guys got like the 3 angles, like the mics, and I'm just like, what the hell is this thing in my face? Like, I'm just used to having it clipped on, but sick to be here.
I think it's the relinquishing control as well. Knowing when I speak on the mic on our
definitely.
pod, and to be fair, like we literally put everything out, but I also have this control to edit whatever I want, how I want.
You could change it.
I could change it, but now it's really like, oh no, everything I'm saying is in your guys' hands.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine. Just no racism, no pedophilia.
Oh, shit.
That's it. That's the only line here on the whip. But like we promised, expert opinions never.
Good times forever.
That's our little catchphrase. But first of all, boys, thank you for coming on. I wanted to know a little bit about who you guys are. What's your passions? Because I met you, Josh, at school, and Carl used to work at Macca's together.
Yeah. Dude,
Ellie's
that's
first time.
way back for us.
Mate, throwback, hey.
Yeah, when would that have been? Like when I was like 14, I started.
2014, 2015.
Yeah, I left in 2016, the beginning.
Yeah, there you go. So literally like almost 10 years ago, which is crazy. When you think about that, that's really bad. But yeah, no, I guess for us, like who am I? I guess at the moment, just a podcaster, I guess, is trying to make that grow. Trying to grow the brand with Josh. And yeah, just trying to push that as much as we can.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't know, it's such an interesting question being asked who you are because you could dive into that forever. Yeah, as someone would say. About Kyle, not me. No, I think I'm just super curious. Like that's what I've sort of been coming back to. Is I'm just a really curious person, and I just love exploring conversation and doing new things. To be honest, like whether it's going for a hike or traveling to a new place or eating a new meal, that's what I'm really passionate about at the moment. And in that is doing a lot of stuff outdoors, hiking, cycling, running, going through a bit of an injury phase at the moment though. So sort of
Timber mill.
Broke my finger and really hurt my ankle a few weeks ago. So that sort of like left me kind of stuck at home, which is definitely mentally hard, to be honest, just not being able to do what you want to do. But at the same time, I take it in the light of, okay, like what could I learn here? I wouldn't voluntarily keep myself inside, not being able to exercise. So what could I learn through this?
And now you're on the Northern Beach #1 podcast. So.
I know.
The highlight of your career, man.
Why did you guys like start a pod? Because like for us, we were both hammered in Byron Bay.
Thought it'd be a good idea.
I thought it'd be a really good idea.
Yeah. For us, it was like I think it takes us back a little bit because we've kind of been doing it for like a year now. Which has been really
recording.
Well,
releasing for a year.
You're on 56 episodes now, and your first one was on the 22nd of December.
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
Birthday.
Oh no.
Oh, there we go.
That's cool. Yeah.
So you guys are like more than a year ahead of
yeah,
us.
we actually recorded our first episode it would have been
back.
August or September.
No, it would have been.
It was August or September.
Late September because it was.
So
No, it might be late September, October, because it was post try.
oh yeah. Yeah, so it was actually 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we recorded, and how it all came about, I guess you can share the story.
Yeah, so
because it
pretty
was
much
more-
like, I think like we were both at a bit of a crossroads. Like for me, it was kind of like studying economics at uni. Love economics, but like for me, it was just like, I can't really see like a career or anything out of that.
That's okay. You've got my life story. So.
Yeah, dude, like it was just like, and not like uni's phenomenal. Like it is such a, like we're so lucky and blessed to be able to have such a high education here. But I think it was like for me, I think I jumped into it too early.
Yeah.
Thinking that, because I thought I took it in a way of like, oh, I'm so lucky that I know what I like and enjoy.
Yeah.
Some people just jump into uni. So I was like, oh, I've got the upper hand. But it's like when I'm there, it's like, cool, I like all this stuff and I enjoy it. But like a career out of this, I'm like, I don't quite know. Like, I don't know if that's for me. And obviously me and Josh have been super close since like 2014. And I knew he was at a crossroads too, because he was almost going to be a qualified mechanic.
Well, I was at that
Well, you
point.
were, yeah, good point. Yeah,
So I finished my apprenticeship in April 2021. I went into the apprenticeship knowing I didn't want to be a mechanic for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
I just wanted to acquire a skill and figure it out from there. The initial plan was to go and travel. And then I realized I wanted to go overseas, not travel around Australia. And I was sort of just hanging around waiting for the next thing to pop up.
Yeah.
And it was actually during COVID. We when like you couldn't go out or whatever, we went out and ate some dinner. We were sitting in his car down at Narrabeen Lake,
And you thought, let's do a podcast in a car. Oh,
it didn't
no.
even happen. So we were sitting there eating, and then
This is, for context, this is when you weren't supposed to do that.
like it's
Oh,
like
so you're a
You
criminal.
remember that? Like,
$1,000 fine. Yeah, we're criminals.
Like criminals on the pod.
And I see this car pull in, and I'm like,
it was
dude,
a
that
troopy. It was a...
no, it was a 200 series
Oh,
Land
that's right.
Cruiser. I'm like, that's cops, and he's like, no, it's a full drive, and I'm like, dude, that's cops. And me being me, I overthink so much. So, but when we arrived, I had already built an escape plan in my mind. So I had the window down because I knew if I opened the door, the interior light would go off because there wasn't a switch for his car.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to be able to sneak out of this car without opening the door. Had it all pre-planned, and what do you know? It happens. And I like hop out, slide down, crawl underneath my car. And
This is as the cops are
pulling in. And he's the perfect one to actually speak with the cop because I'm a terrible liar. So I would have just been like,
And I'm a great liar.
so I'm just laying under there, and then you start talking to the
So I
cop.
was like talking to the cop. He's like, hey, what are you up to tonight? So obviously someone's tipped us off because we'd seen a few people walk past us or something like that.
Or they were just doing patrols, just talking to anyone because they were bored too.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But it was in such a secluded car park. It's like, there's no way you just roll in here. Like, it was just like someone had tipped them off. Anyway, he's like, so what are you doing here? Are you hanging out with your mates? And I was just like, no, just like having a feed by myself, and almost like flipped it onto him to be like, you're awkward for like asking me why I'm here. Look at me, I'm just eating food by myself. Like, there's no one else in the car.
Because I just started calling you a loser.
Well, I'd run with it because it'd be like, yeah, go away. Yeah. But he ended up just being like, oh, cool, have a good night. Like, drove off. Josh was under the car.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What?
So, yeah, it was so funny. So
It's
that,
like some Mexican border stuff.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it was not.
legit. Yeah.
Lockdown, crazy times, eh?
Yeah. So anyway, we basically that night I pitched to him because we were both at sort of that crossroads. I was like, dude, like let's do something together. Like we're both young. We have that young arrogance. Like at that point we're 21, and we're just like I don't give a shit about anything. I have no responsibilities. Let's take a stab at something now. You know
Such
what I mean?
mood.
Yeah.
And so we do.
Ours is a very different story. We were both like, so depressed. Off our heads, and we're like, fuck it, just give it a go.
Yeah.
I love like my team and stuff, but I have the exact same like mindset. It's like, do I want to be doing this like when I'm 60? At least not try. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
dude,
yeah,
to take a
so-
stab at it, especially when the biggest thing is to no responsibility.
Especially when I box Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal. I'm gonna box Floyd Mayweather.
Dude, yeah. And then pretty much from there, like we just kept talking about it. And then we're like, we just need to make something happen. Wrote down a whole bunch of things. What are our strengths? What are our opportunities? Like, I think
Wow.
curiosity was like the biggest thing for us. Like, we're both super curious. Like,
Oh, so you guys like really thought about it.
oh yeah,
that's
yeah. The juxtaposition.
This is interesting, actually.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm like, fire out. We could have. Wow, how we should have done it.
The only thing that probably we ever see with like similar was we didn't rush into it. Like putting out our first stuff.
Yeah. Because we were different. We were like, we're just gonna put something out.
Yeah, terrific.
Like we couldn't care less. Like if someone hated it, like I'm not attached to what other people think of it right now. Especially like we have no skills in this realm. It's like the only thing we're like good at is probably having conversation. So it's like, let's just start with that.
We didn't actually put out the first one we recorded. The first one we recorded was a post triathlon like recap.
Oh yeah.
Because we'd just done a triathlon, recorded the recap, and like that has never been aired. I don't even know if we still have that.
Have it, yeah.
But there's been quite a few where we've recorded and just nothing came from it.
We lost like 15 apps.
Yeah, I accidentally deleted a lot of it.
Zach's
but
fault again.
Exactly.
again, it's a hard thing to say when I was the only one doing it all.
I'm just talent. And HR because I get the guess.
So you just rock up, show face.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, no, I think it was an interesting point that you said, like you didn't want to wake up and be 60 and not had done it. Because that's like one of the top regrets of the dying is not taking the chances in life and not taking those risks. And I think for us, we were just at a point where, you know, there is so much backlash towards it from people around you of like, oh, don't do it. It's not going to work out. It's so hard to succeed and all that sort of stuff. But there's just such an internal desire to want to try. And I found so much more peace knowing we could try and fail than not try at all.
Yeah, but I think from there it's pretty much just like we sort of over the last like 12 months have been like obviously looking into branding ourselves a little bit better. But I think the idea for us is to, with the pod at least, it's to seek out people who are living rather than existing. So that's just the main thing. So seek out people actually taking chances and whatnot. And I think for us in this sort of second phase is moving to the pod just being it used to be a weekly thing, and a lot of our energy goes into that. But now we want to make it a fortnightly thing.
Yeah, I saw you post that today. So that was the big move for you guys.
Yeah, big shift.
Yeah, I think like
big decision.
I just come back from traveling. Josh had just a 2-week trip in Japan. Like Josh had traveled like last year around mid-year, and like it's just that adventure that feeds the curiosity. Like we just want to be doing more things, and I think the big buzzword for us now is like serendipity. So just like going and like discovering things just on the fly. Yeah, like just that like curiosity and that spontaneity. Like that's what we really seek at the moment.
So what does that have to do with only recording fortnightly? Though, are you saying that like the weekend before you're going to go through? Like, it's just like an example. You're going to go somewhere specific and then like take that in, and then sort of week after you can talk about it. Or?
Yeah, basically just buying time is the biggest thing. As you guys know, editing takes so much of the time away.
Yeah, for sure.
And given we've been releasing weekly, it's just so much time goes towards editing.
Time for a break.
Yeah, so for us, it's more, okay, we work 3 days a week to earn enough money to like satisfy our lifestyles. And then the other 4 days are pretty much on us, what we want to do with them. And at the moment, we've just been releasing pod after pod after pod. So by releasing...
like we've kind of gone backwards, like in terms of like we almost are existing by just releasing an episode a week.
Staying in the routine. So by us now releasing fortnightly, it gives us so much more time to explore, to have these adventures and... hopefully for us, tell more stories and move into sort of long format storytelling, which is something we're like naturally feeling more passionate about.
Do you think that would have worked in your first year?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I mean, we can never know the answer, but I think like I'm grateful that we've done what we've done, just because I think the podcast, as you guys would know, it's such a good network hack. Like you can speak to, like instead of just DMing someone, be like, hey, I love your work, like to create a conversation. Being able to pitch a podcast is almost like you're guaranteeing conversation because you're going to link up and then have that conversation on a podcast. So yeah, it's like a super good networking tool. Also editing skills, tech skills, all those types of stuff. We didn't have any of that.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think like us being able to do the full year of weekly release like really helped us get to that point where we understand that and feel confident we'd be able to go out, like partake in this curiosity, all these adventures and stuff, and be able to capture that in the best way we possibly can. So without almost that year of tech skill, we might not even be at that point. We may or may not, we don't know.
I think more so as well, the desire wasn't there at that point in time, so it never would have been anything good. I think you can have the hardest worker in the room, but if you have someone that has desire on top of that, they're going to outperform the person that works hard like 10 out of 10 times. And I think for us, it's just following our desires wherever they lead us, as long as they're within the realm of like what we want to achieve in life, not like the desire to go smash a chocolate bar or whatever. But for us, just staying true to that.
Yeah, and like organically let that happen. I think like even the last month, like probably what have we done? Like I was away, like it's like we haven't like, there's nothing you could say is like there that we've done tangibly, but we've just like the last month has kind of led up to like the last few days where we've ended up planning a whole bunch of stuff for the next 6 months, and that just came organically. So it's trying to not be tied down to that and kind of just let it happen, follow that curiosity.
So you're moving more away from being just a sole podcast, but more developing Two Guys, One Car as a brand. Is that why you started doing the
Living with.
That Instagram when I saw you doing what challenges at the front of the Stain?
Yeah.
Shout out to Stain.
Shout out to the fucking Stain.
We're trying to get sponsored by them eventually, so who knows?
Sponsor these boys.
Legend.
I think for us, the goal right now is it's always staying true to ourselves. It's always living rather than existing. But in this means it's sort of building a brand around ourselves, around the living with, not necessarily the Two Guys, One Car. It's all under the same umbrella of us. But that is the pod itself, and then the other stuff will be under that living with brand.
Oh, so living with is what you're really starting to push now.
I think that's that's the long term, that's the long term slow burn, impactful stuff. That's the stuff that we can do and feel like I could do that for forever.
Yeah. And what does the living with stuff look like more?
So as of right now, all that's up there is some public challenges.
Which was based off the pod.
Based off the pod of people giving us challenges at the end of each episode. But also for us, just seeking discomfort by doing things that aren't comfortable, dancing shirtless in Bondi or hugging 100 strangers, whatever it was.
There's a bunch that we've recorded and haven't actually edited.
So we have a lot.
Uncomfortable ones.
There's been some funny stuff. But I think for now, at least what we've sort of planned out is to have more adventure and tell more stories. So for us, something we really want to do is tell the story of what it means to have an adventure. And we're going to aim to do that by traveling from Bondi Beach to Byron Bay with no money. We can't
so you're doing real challenges, not just talking people out the front of the
going out and doing, having actual adventure, because that is in our core. That's what we crave, is having those adventures. And doing the pod is so awesome, but it is just a conversation for the most part. And things might come from that, but we actually want to go and experience and live it. At least that's what I've been craving recently.
And I think like some of the things we've been talking about doing, they're genuinely really uncomfortable. You go home, it's a G up with us. We're like, oh, that's sick.
It's it sounds good on the drawing board, and then when the day comes to actually filming, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, and you go home, put your head on the pillow, you're like, fuck, that would suck.
Not even. I think for me, the initial plan was to travel from Bondi to Byron with no money in regards to we have to hitchhike the whole way, but we could buy our own food, sleep in a tent, anything like that. And I watched this series by Discover Connection on YouTube, and these two guys traveled across America doing no money. They can't buy their own food, no shelter. You have to sleep in a stranger's house every night. When I saw that, I was like, no way, that's too scary. I don't want to do that, which is why I have to now do that. Because again, it's not uncomfortable for me to do the first way. I actually really want to do it that way, but this way is more uncomfortable. So that's why we have to roll with that. It's a true story to us.
Maybe we should do a podcast challenge. You guys versus us in Manly or something.
Yeah, dude. Let's do it.
That'd be so fun.
For sure.
Oh,
we'll think of it.
That'd be funny.
I know it should be
the whip versus two guys.
Yeah.
It's like or it's like multiple challenges. We do the podcast Olympics.
Yeah, it could be we give you challenges, you give us challenges.
Yes.
Because you can because it's that's the best element of when we.
That would be fun. We should definitely do that.
We've given each other challenges, so it's you could take it from a couple of angles. You could absolutely shaft them, but you're going to get shafted back. Shaft them, so it's do I take it easy on them or what do I do here?
That would be fun, boys. I reckon we do it.
Get the confidence up throughout the day.
You just have to go for it. You just got to dive in the deep end.
It sucks.
It's a lot easier, I feel when it's for content.
For sure. That's where it's also when it, I don't know, there is that level where if the person doesn't know you're filming. So for example, I challenged him to get a stranger to buy him a coffee. Say, oh, I have no money. Could you please buy me a coffee? That is, in my mind, one of the most uncomfortable things you can do is asking someone to buy you something.
Especially when you're dressed in Nike and new shoes.
Shoes, that's it, dude. Yeah.
Do you pay the stranger back after, or do you just
no? You don't let them buy you it. No, you don't let them buy you it. So when they say, you just basically need someone to say, yeah, I'll buy it for you,
and then go line up and then oh, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
No, so the way we did it
No,
was
actually a prank show, bro.
I would have taken the coffee.
because I asked the guy, and then he ended up like being like, yeah, I'll pay you, and I was like, oh, explain the whole thing to him. It was like, I'll buy you something for being so generous.
Oh,
If that
cool.
makes sense. So it's kind of like you show that generosity back, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that one already out?
No,
no.
that's,
So
we have like 8 or something.
I
Really?
think we have 3 or 4 videos that we haven't put out.
When would they be all coming out, and where can they find them?
I don't
even know
I
if
don't
we
know if
will
we're going to
put them
release them.
out.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Just
But
don't know if
it'll
it's
be
good.
on the YouTube channel Living with Josh and Kyle.
So you've got 2 now. 2 Guys One Car channel.
2 Guys
and
One Car,
Living
which
With.
is solely the pod, and then Living With, which will be more our storytelling
Yeah,
stuff that
so
we're
some-
moving into.
Yeah, so we like that curiosity, that adventure, that living.
Yeah.
And I think the umbrella is living for us. And then just us two being a part of just living with Carl and Josh.
Yeah,
honestly.
totally.
And then the pod is seeking out people who are living rather than existing. So for us, that's
Living
a
the
lot of
dream.
inspiration, right?
Yeah,
so like
totally.
if you're meeting other people who are doing stuff that you want to be doing, like that's obviously super inspirational as well. So actually speaking to them,
How many guests have you had on so far?
bro.
Well, we've
They've
got
done
56 episodes.
episodes.
We've recorded 4 with ourselves. We did my app, your app, and then 2. So probably like 52.
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah.
Duds?
No. no.
No.
We've actually, it's funny, we've discussed that, and we always
What would
speak
we
about
do?
the day that happens.
happens.
Yeah, the day that happens when someone comes on that we just don't vibe with. But I think based off our metric of someone that is truly living, everyone we seek out is actually someone that's living and is an interesting person. And yeah, there's been people you might not connect with on like a social level, just based off your interests and whatnot.
Sure.
But everyone's been super, super good, I would say.
Yeah, totally.
Do you reckon we've had one?
That wasn't as good. Well, we can't go past the micro SD card, not on the road mics.
Not really necessarily the guest.
Yeah, but he definitely didn't like as much after. Who knows?
Yeah. Still responds to jams.
No, we haven't really had any dud guests. We had cool ones. Was like the politician Jackie Scrooby. That was awesome.
Our DY calisthenics one was probably my favourite.
Is that your most recent one?
Yeah,
that
it
you
was.
released? Yeah.
He's a legend.
Yeah, so
you guys
how
should
did
get
you
him
link up
on.
with him?
Just like damned it.
Oh, cool.
Just like saw him in like Instagram reels and shit. And he had like some motivation thing about mental health, and then like it was DY Beach, and I like clicked on him, and it was like if I'm just being like perfectly honest, like I saw he was a sponsored, a lot of followers, and
Yeah.
he was about fitness, and it's like that's something that most of our guests is like going to want to hear.
Yeah.
So then I was like fuck it, like commercially, like I was like let's do that. But then like having him on like the yarn didn't really talk about like gym sponsorships or anything. Like it was basically mental health.
And it was
Yeah,
like he's
wow.
got a hectic story.
Yeah.
Shout out Andy, legend.
Yeah. So like that's just like that was like my favorite because like I went in there like basically because he was popular. Like what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're in a position where like obviously you have people on that we can vibe with, but we also need growth and sometimes you need those gaps.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't forced.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like I have one episode in my head where like shit is forced. I won't say it on here, but one in my head where I'm like that felt forced.
That nothing fears. Like I'm so afraid of that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I think because ours go for we usually just let it roll and like we don't have a time limit on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless the guest sort of has like a time limit,
Yeah.
but so it's a different dynamic because it's like we get to those bits where it's like the conversation slows down or goes a certain direction. You got to like pull it back.
We had one where we asked the guy, because we'll always ask the guest, is there anything you want to speak about? And we sort of asked him like 2 or 3 times, and he was like, no, I'm happy to just keep rolling. Like, let's keep chatting. The pod went for like 2 hours and 43 minutes. It was just it was a great conversation.
Such a good chat. Wait,
Hey?
say
Is
again.
that a rough edit?
No,
you-
it was,
was that something?
I edited that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was pretty much, it was all there. I mean,
Yeah.
it took a long time, but yeah, the conversation was so cool.
So good.
And I think all it takes is someone being willing to just sit down and talk and not
definitely.
necessarily have an agenda or something they need to share or speak about, but just have a conversation and see where it leads.
Well, I used to deliver Chinese food, and I did fire up one of your episodes like on repeat that I actually just really liked. Got a lot
Really?
out of it. Yeah.
What was it?
The one with Jay Fawkes.
Oh,
Shout out Jason Fawkes, mate.
he's such a
Love
legend.
it. I love him, bro.
Have you done eggs and OJ before?
Nah.
Do you know what that is? That's like his
Eggs and
staple.
OJ, I'm guessing.
Raw eggs.
But it's raw eggs, OJ.
Yeah, yeah.
And he lives by it.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Well, you guys followed by Corners of the Earth.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had him on.
we had them on.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, no
They're
way.
cool.
Yeah, now they can't not come on.
Sorry, not that they're like lining it up. know,
Yeah,
they're away at the moment. They say,
Just-
hit us up and we'll come on when they're back because they're from Av.
Yeah, they're so cool.
so-
Yeah. Guy and Spence, just them two.
Yeah, I would assume so. I just DM
The account.
The account.
Yeah. Have you seen the documentary?
Not yet, but
Oh
I'm going.
my
But
gosh.
I've heard it's pretty nuts.
It's
like,
wild.
It's so cool.
So they were just on How Sport, which is like my favorite pod.
Yeah.
And I've listened to that one, and they're just the yarn around like when their flight, the day they were meant to get into Russia, like Russia invades Ukraine.
Yeah.
Oh
You gotta
gosh.
watch the film. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah, they're two really cool guys. And I definitely draw a lot of inspiration from them, knowing when you watch the product of what they do, you can be so quick to put them in such a high pedestal and almost diminish yourself of, I'll never get to that point or I could never do anything like that. But when you meet them and the way they speak, that you realize like they're just two guys that grew up in Av that have now achieved these amazing things, and you can do that too, and there's no reason you can't.
Totally. That's what I was going to ask. I was like, who were your biggest inspirations when you were starting out?
Oh, definitely Rogan.
Surely
Rogan?
That's
Yeah,
for everyone.
in the podcast.
You're almost lying if you'd like.
Controversial opinion, I don't reckon it's that entertaining.
Oh,
I like the ones where he's got good guests on.
I don't think entertainment-wise,
Entertainment, yeah.
education-wise, for me.
Sure,
yeah.
okay.
I take it from that perspective when I listen to Rogan. Like I'll see a guest on, like find out who they are based off his page,
Yeah.
and then just be like, oh, cool.
But the North Korean chick was hectic.
Yeah, you know me, Pop.
I've actually not listened to.
I haven't listened to
Oh
that
my
either.
goodness, what are you guys
how
doing?
bad is this? I've not
It's
listened.
popular, isn't it?
Isn't it
For
recent?
Surely,
No, it's
From
2-3
ages
years ago.
Oh, right.
yeah,
Right, that one is like proper like
yeah, intense.
Yeah.
stuff.
I probably listened to the first like 30 minutes, but I've never given it.
Oh wow, it's
Yeah.
amazing. But I will have to say, to answer the question properly, the inspirations. Definitely one of my best mates, Luke Demant. He's like a travel vlogger, and for me, seeing like we grew up together in high school, 14 years old, and when he finished school, he went overseas and just started making videos.
Yeah.
He was doing it before when he was in Australia, but really went hard when he went overseas, and has since like had a lot of growth, which is all earned. And he's doing very well in that space. And for me, that's probably the biggest inspiration with the stuff we're doing, purely because he's one of our best mates, and I've seen the whole journey. And yeah, definitely Luke. Love you, Lukey.
It's such a big. It's like just to see like someone you knew before,
Yeah.
like everything happened, and then like see them now be the same person. It's just like it's pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
very
for sure.
surreal. Thought about it the other day when I saw him. I was like, dude, like you've done so well for yourself over these years. Like it's just crazy to see him do it.
We were out the other week at a birthday, and like a few people were like, "Oh, it started off as like a laugh, but like you guys are actually getting like guests on it." And then I was at the bar, and the first person that I don't really know recognized it, and that was like made my week.
Elliot just wants to be famous.
I don't want to be famous. I want to be able to pay my rent. I want to be famous, fuck fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the goal for you guys?
Yeah.
Paying our rent.
to develop a platform that our friends can come on if they wanted to build something, they can come on and other people can hear about
That's
it.
cool.
Is the
That's dope.
That's
Community-
super sustainable as well. Like,
Sorry?
That's super sustainable.
Yeah, for
As in
sure.
like community driven like goals like that. Just like you could attack that forever and be satisfied.
To be honest, just having it as a full-time job, like so many things you could do. Like we could launch like a business, but out of it, like I don't know. I'm not really into clothing, but like it would be cool to like have this, grow it, and then do like a alcohol, or like whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be able to grow.
I want to do
personal
it the
brand
whip
and-
vodka eventually.
Yeah, the whip vodka. That's the ultimate goal.
Sick.
Yeah, serving it at the Seine on tap.
So who would be your goals to have on yours that you'd want?
Or
talked about
dream
this before.
dream guests. So we actually have a list of dream guests.
Yeah, rattle.
So do we.
Yeah,
So
Kim Jong-un.
the first one that popped to mind, just Lime Cordial.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we know you guys love those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
We met them. So
Oh, sick.
Jackie Scrooby that came on the podcast.
That's right. Yeah,
She took us backstage. Elliot couldn't come because he was in hot water.
Yeah,
But
I was in the doghouse.
and so she took us like we met backstage at the mall and stuff. So that was
Dang.
funny as.
They're in Europe, and we're gonna hit up Jackie. Be like if they're around, and
You should get them to come on like for the youth and stuff.
and like we almost won you the elections. But, and and I did talk a lot of shit about the guy who won. So if I disappear,
You know what happened.
Then Jordan's taking your seat.
Geordie's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for helping, Geordie. But yeah, your dream guest list.
Yeah, I would say like someone who like, and a lot of young men, like I don't know about your guys, like take on him, but like Jordan Peterson, that is like he's like my idol.
from that one.
I'm just
Really,
not,
dude.
From the
I
Jay
love-
Fawkes one, you were talking about it.
Dude, we were on the same vibe with the self-authoring program. Like,
Yeah.
Wait,
Have you done it yet?
No, I haven't, but I'd love to do it. I should actually do it. But yeah, like just, I think from when I started like watching his content, like I think from when I was like 16, 17, it was exactly when I needed that type of person, like, and that sort of content in my life. So like, I'd love to speak to him. Definitely. But others, like I'd say it's just people who just Lime Cordial.
Cameron Haynes. For me, the biggest one is Chris Burkhardt. I don't know if you guys know him. He's an American photographer, videographer, filmmaker, adventurer. And he just kind of encapsulates everything that I like in a person.
Sure.
He has this real adventurous side to him. He's amazing at his work. Like he's refined his craft over years and years and years. He's from the outside in, looks like a beautiful family man. I've literally listened to every podcast he's ever done, and I just want to meet that guy and speak to that guy. And I know I will at some point.
Cameron Haynes a good one.
Yeah. I think Izzy. How does
yeah.
Wait, are you rapping?
Huh? I'm repping right now. The Stylebender shirt.
Stylebender. Oh, we'll be tagging that.
Israel Adesanya, you should go on the boys podcast in ours, like when you're doing this.
I'm not begging you.
Whoever wins the podcast challenge, he goes on their
he gets
podcast
Izzy.
first.
Yeah. Dude, I just think like,
I'm sure he'll agree to that.
Yeah.
I think that guy's just like he just doesn't give a fuck. Like, and I love that he just doesn't care. But he does as well. Sometimes he has that chip on the shoulder. He's just realistic.
Yeah, cool.
He's real. I think from everything I get, he's real. With the amount of fame he has, all his accomplishments, he's just so real. That's what I love about him.
So you like UFC?
Dude, hell yeah. We're addicts.
Did you watch first episode of Tough?
Yes, last night. Yeah,
I
it did.
watched it today.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but it's like, dude.
Fuck it. Conor McGregor's my dream.
Yeah,
I
McGreg's.
just reckon he's just like the man.
Dude,
I swear he runs his own interviews.
Yeah.
Like when he's on, he's just answering.
And like he hasn't won in a fair bit.
Yeah.
And he's no one like talks bad about him. Like everyone's still like, oh, but Conor, like I reckon.
It's just the dream, dude. Yeah, I don't know. Like we were actually talking about this today. I've kind of lost a bit of that like
Fire.
sparkle because I'm okay with him like losing the Chandler fight and just not fighting it. I'd be okay with it just so I can feel okay when he does lose. Like I fucking
Wait,
love
when he does lose?
Yeah, Chandler's gonna piece him, dude.
Nah.
No. Dude, McGreg's is
Chandler
coming.
walks in with his hands down, and McGregor's got like, and it's gonna be at 185.
If he comes out with the karate stance, then it's McGregor.
Yeah, karate stance McGregor.
But if I don't know, man. But like, Greg's maybe. Yeah, I think Izzy definitely Volk. Like, I'd love to just any Australians. Like, some people train in Bondi. Like Josh, what's his last name?
Josh Coolabau.
Coolabau.
Yeah.
Love
There's
to
so
speak to
many
him.
like, there's like, what's the barrier to entry to interview Rob Whittaker? Just like walk into the gym at
Pick someone else who's in the gym.
yeah, just like, hey, come
Be
on the
friends
pod.
with him. And then
it-
get Rob.
Well,
the guy who Dan, who I won't say his name, has trained with Volk.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
Is that Jake Chillerman or whatever his name
No,
is?
it's the coach, the boxing.
Oh, okay.
Boxing
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah, he's boxing. The one I said about.
Dude, yeah, we actually dude, this guy, Instagram is like the greatest place for finding podcasts, but also the most frustrating, and it's so defeating, especially when someone big ups it. So we actually have a contact. We have a contact with Volk's videographer,
really, that's mad.
and my mate that knows him, like they're good mates. I reached out to him, and he's like in person. My mate was telling me like, dude, he'll be chill. Like initially he might be a bit weird, but once you warm up, he'll be fine, and he'll probably come on the pod, and through that you might meet Volk or whatever.
That's
so
wild.
in my mind, I'm trying not to build the expectation, but
Yeah,
he's
of
built it
course.
for me. Message this guy, nothing. Just I've messaged him again, nothing. Just
Damn it. Yeah.
Nothing's worse than like we had one recently. I'm like, it's fair enough. He has his reasons. Like he's gone over to America and make it and stuff. So like, there's no like bad like anything behind it. But like, I never
sucks for us.
I never get my expectations up. But we were having on the weekend, telling everyone that. and then he was like, "Sorry boys, like I'm going overseas." Like stuff. We were like, "Yeah,
At least he replied to you. Sometimes we get the ones where it's like you just don't get the replies. You just get seen.
He was crying today. Do you guys know Scotty's gone walkabouts?
Nah.
Heard of it.
He does like a lot of like hiking stuff. Like I've watched him for a couple of years now. He's so chill, so relaxed. Like he's super. Like I'd love to talk to.
Ghosted you?
Yeah, seen it.
Oh.
But to be fair, like I sent him a video message and a long written message. Like it was like I went the full 9 yards, but like he probably saw it and was like, "That's heaps." Like and just like I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Who's this? Who's
A
this?
video
He definitely
message.
read the whole thing.
A video
remember?
message.
Who's this mega
That's
fan?
mad.
The video message is the go. Josh
Really?
found out. Josh
Dude.
figured that out early.
No, Drew. I have to give credit.
Oh,
So
yeah,
Andrew, one
Andrew,
of our
yeah.
mates, if you guys, for literally any guest, send them a video message of your face and like saying what you want to say, and then a written message, which is basically saying what you said in the video.
Transcript.
And the success rate of that with guests is like
Because think about it, like
in a percentage, like
if
95%.
someone messaged you, it's just words. Like you don't know who that person is. It doesn't convey them at all. But if you get like
A video,
not a photo, a video, because it's like what they're wearing, where they are, their facial expressions, their ability to talk. For
Is
1
the
minute.
video you two or is it one of
just
you?
No,
Just
just
one.
one.
Oh,
Like,
so
we'll
I
just-
was picturing. Hi, is he? It's Josh and Carl.
We sent him a video before. What was the line? It's so.
Do you have anyone's like DMs that you've just DM'd so many times, just asking them to come on?
No, not to come on the pod, but I message people. This is going to be great when it happens. So you guys know Robert Owen?
What, like Steve Irwin's son?
Yeah. So he's like, again, he's another source of inspiration for me just with photography and wildlife stuff that he does. And he has like 4 million followers on Instagram. So I know like he'll probably never look at my message until I meet him, I eventually interview him. But I sent him a message. It was a video. And I'm like, dude, I know you're... Oh, no, what did I say? I was like, you're going to open this when I'm interviewing you on my podcast.
Yeah. You're not going to see this
until I interview you. And that's going to be the coolest moment ever.
And then you're going to look up. It's like, and you're going to look up and see us in or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like if that ever happens.
So I don't know. I like play all those games in my mind of I like set shit up for in the future because I think that would be so cool.
Do you make the messages like, do you try to be like funny or do you just go like full serious?
No, it's okay. This is probably,
Here's the script.
I'll give you the formula. I mean, and
there is a formula.
And no, genuinely, there's a formula. And does this make it not genuine? I don't know.
No.
Okay.
No,
So
because it comes from a place.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
you
it's
want
like
to
real
let us
estate
know.
dialogue.
yeah, so this is actually the formula. The biggest reason people say no is because you basically just tell them what they can do for you. Like, number one, you have to be a fan of theirs and actually love what they do. So that is like always the first part of the message is, hey, I'm Josh. Been following you for however long I've been following them for. I really love what you do. Like, I draw a lot of inspiration from what you do. I have this podcast. I would love for you to come on. It's about this, this, and this. And I think like this is what could come from it. And then, yeah, that success is so high because any one of my friends that has like, I guess some level of cloud or whatever you want to call it, and people hit them up for stuff, that's the number one thing they say is the person just told them everything that I can do for them, but
Yeah,
do they even like what I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
very fair. That's
So
right.
add that in your formula if it's not already in it.
Ours has just been damn g'day cunt.
Hey mate, you should come on the podcast. It worked.
I find like at the moment just where we are, like you're better off going to like people that haven't done pods because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, like
And they're keen because they listen to them as well. They're like, I could do a podcast.
But that's the thing about the networking skill is it's like if you approach them but didn't have the pod, then maybe they'd be a bit different about it. But because you have the pod, it's like, oh, I can do something for them, and you get the same conversation, if not more intentional conversation. So it's actually like, but you benefit from
Or
that.
they know you've got a podcast and you're always talking to them and they're like, I know this person's just talking to me because they want me to come on their podcast.
which I will bend over for the corporate dollar. If that's what you want. Come on, I give a shit.
Take it.
I'd rather be on with someone who's interested.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's sort of been our metric.
So before we wrap it up, was there anything that you guys really wanted to touch on while you were here? So the big thing is that you're moving away from weekly podcasts and you're
Yeah.
diving into this challenge. And so you've got a few big ones scheduled for the upcoming release at the end of
So
the year.
what we want to do in the next 6 months is trying to tell 6 stories over the next 6 months.
Cool.
So it's like giving ourselves that deadline. We sort of finalized that today.
Yeah.
The 6 sort of stories roughly that we'll be like trying to tell.
No way.
So yeah, we want to do that over the next 6 months and then see where we go from there. But I think the things we're trying to get out of it is like be able to take our time, tell some more long form stories,
Yeah.
and provide a little bit more impact through storytelling. Because at the moment it's just the pod clips, the full pods. and it's like you get the most eyes on the pod clips, and they're just like 60 seconds.
Sure, the reels, the TikToks.
It's like, and Josh brought it up. Josh had some real conflict with it, which he can go into.
Yeah. Were you going?
Yeah, I was going to say like it opened my eyes to a lot of stuff as well. Like that, I'm definitely thinking a similar thing. But
yeah, so it was like 2 weeks ago. I've been trying to listen to just way less like music, podcasts in general, and just like allow my mind to be creative and take nothing in but my surroundings and what I'm doing. And do you guys know Matt from Yes Theory? Do you guys know Yes Theory?
I do know vaguely from YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, so they tell some really cool stories, and he was one of the 4 original founders and left it 2-3 years ago. And he like deleted his Instagram, had like over 200,000 followers, and actually like deleted the account, not just blocked it or whatever, or logged out rather. And he resurfaced and did a pod, and was basically, someone asked him the question, if anyone was thinking about doing social media, like what would you tell them? And he said, don't do it. And granted, it might be easy for him to say because he said like he's financially set for the rest of his life, and his friends have these platforms. If he wants to promote anything, he can just use their platform. But it really got me thinking about short form content. I had a conversation with a friend thinking about what value does it actually add? Like how many people have ever watched a piece of short form content that isn't from someone that's really well educated, like a Jordan Peterson and Andrew Huberman, Alex Hormozy, and taken something away and changed their life with that piece of content? For me, never. Like I've learned some cool lines. I've like found a little bit of inspiration, but would I not find that by hanging out with my friend and having a conversation in person, or going for a walk, or doing some exercise? And like, what's the trade-off there? Like, how much am I screwing up my brain and my dopamine system and all that sort of stuff? And it sounds very uneducated, and I am, but it's more the feeling I experience when I just consume heaps of short form content. I feel dumb after, like my brain feels fried. And
100%.
It's super conflicting, like being people who can put out like 15 short form videos, but then both feeling that way. That makes sense. So it's like, okay, how can we, what's the answer to that? It's like, people talk about going from short form to long form. It's like, we just want to go with long form. Like, it's like, that's where like we don't feel any conflict. And to Josh's point, like, yes, we have no education on this, but it's like that feeling.
Yeah,
it's like
totally.
when Josh said those words, I was like, yeah, I definitely feel that too. It's like, what are we actually, what tangible asset, like what are we actually giving to people by making this?
And you can believe in it, and it's not, there's no ill intent, but at the same time, the way you edit a clip is purely with the intention of holding someone's attention, putting colors in, having cuts, having music, like it's all designed to keep someone watching that clip to increase the views, not necessarily to provide more value to them or anything. So I've just been feeling really conflicted there. And I think the thing I came back to was, if we were going to like watch a movie, that would have to be a really conscious decision, right? Like, hey, I want to sit down for 2 hours and watch this movie. You don't just choose to sit down and watch it. Whereas you don't really choose the short form stuff you consume. It's just on your feed, and you take it in without choice, really. It's more automated.
Because you remember the last movie you watched, but you don't remember the last 5 TikToks you watched.
Exactly.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is what came out of that conversation with Josh when we had it. I was like, dude, I don't even fucking remember what I watch if I'm watching. Because for me, it's not like TikTok or anything. It's like YouTube Shorts. Because I'm on YouTube for the people I may follow or whatnot, but I just get the shorts and I get stuck. So I could not tell you the last 5 that I watched, but the last movie.
Yeah, I could tell you the last movie. Couldn't tell you the last short.
Yeah.
So for us, that's where we're sort of sitting now, and that's why we want to move into the long format stuff. And yeah, I think it's an exciting change. And we're not anti-short form content.
Yeah.
I think if you're promoting a product or a service or anything like that, that totally makes sense. And I don't judge people that make short form. I'm still just very conflicted. Just for us personally, I don't feel that comfortable putting out short form content.
Yeah, it's purely us. Like, it's like us, like, what do we feel comfortable with actually making?
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Putting out there.
And even if like that is a clip of a short form content, like what we just said, going out.
Yeah, we're gonna clip that.
No. Like, I'm totally cool with that. It's more just me and knowing what I do and finding peace in that.
Because that's, again, I've said this like 4 times, but that's like long term.
Yeah,
like
cool.
I couldn't do the short form stuff with that conflicting thought for a long time. Because it's just going to I'm just going to get lost in that. And like, I don't want to be doing that sort of stuff. And I think it speaks to the curiosity a lot more, doing the long form things and like falling in love with a little bit more with storytelling and being able to actually tell stories and stuff.
So
Yeah, that's us for the next 6 months. I
Yeah.
think.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's exciting. Big
Yeah,
change, but
super
big things
keen.
coming. How good.
Yeah.
So where can everyone find you?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
The podcast is on Spotify, like all platforms, YouTube, etc. Two Guys, One Car. And then everything else is Living with Josh and Kyle.
Yeah, so Living with Josh and Kyle is the thing to keep an eye on.
Living
and
with
that's
Josh and Kyle.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube.
Hectic. Awesome.
Everywhere.
Shout it out on our page. But quickly before we go, don't
Yes.
understand how my mind works. It just came from that shit about short form. You guys should do a haunted house and film it.
A haunted house.
As in
like,
walk through one?
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Sick.
For the other page, if it's going to be like real
Yeah,
life.
because that's like fear-driven.
We could do that together. I don't know, incorporate.
Yeah,
the
we'll
challenge
do
into
that one.
Yeah,
The
let's
challenge.
do it.
Someone
Who
has
can
to
last
go
the
in.
longest?
Someone has to go in like blindfolded or.
Yeah.
Or we should sleep in a haunted house for a night.
Fuck yes, dude. That
I don't
gets
know.
so nervous. Clammy.
Hectic.
You know?
Hectic.
Whoever draws the short straw has to do it. Like out of the two.
sleep.
Like
Oh.
one team, one podcast team
Bro, I thought
has
you
to
meant
sleep
like
in.
one person.
Oh.
I was like,
Oh,
that's so
no
cruel.
days.
That's
No,
so
no.
cruel.
Yeah, we should do it. That'd be funny.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
we got to tease something up.
Oh,
That'd
actually-
be fun as. Yeah.
Wait, can you just look into the camera and say the Stain is the best pub on the Northern Beaches?
The Stain is the best pub on the Northern Beaches.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I believe
That's
that.
all
I don't
right.
even know which.
We'll cut that bit.
We'll take that bit
But
out.
boys, thank you so much for taking times out of your evening to jump on our podcast. It must be, like we said, very weird being on the other end, being a guest on someone else's.
Yeah, that was good though. Thank you so much,
I
guys.
have
It was really fun.
Before we go, one question for you guys.
Yeah.
What's something you would do differently if you were to start this again?
Buy this thing straight away.
It's a great question. Yeah. Number one, yeah. I'll try to give a different answer.
A deeper one.
Probably start earlier. Because I was thinking about it for like a fair while. But
How long?
before it happened, like there was always something where I'm like, I want to do something that's like so when I was like a bit ago, I was like, I reckon it'd be funny like hosting like a TV show. Like I was like, I reckon I could do that. Like no one would be great. Like you know what I mean. Like obviously learn over time. So I reckon starting earlier or probably knowing how to edit before we did it because I had to pick it up. So our first few episodes, like I was always relying on Zach, or if Zach couldn't do it, it'd look shit. So I'd probably want it where now I can add in like the assets we made and
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard this
that.
line months ago. It was like the scariest thing about entrepreneurship is the gap between the creative idea and the technical ability to pull it
100%.
off. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh,
that's a
I found
that's
so much
much
peace
sense.
in that.
great. That's a great quote.
Because it's so true. Like we have these creative ideas and like we want to do this, this, and this, but just don't have the skills to make it happen yet.
And you feel kind of lost in that space because you're just like,
100%.
these guys are doing it, and then, like we're exposed to everyone who gets it right.
Yeah.
We're not exposed to the people who don't get it right, and so there's
Yeah,
so
for
many
sure.
people not getting it right, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You just got to push through it. But yeah,
Cheers, boys.
yeah. Thanks so much for
Appreciate
having
your
us
time.
on.
Cheers,
Well,
boys.
Yeah, it was
always
awesome.
a pleasure, never a chore. Like, comment, subscribe to the boys and to us. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next
Us
time.
first.
Boys,
Thanks, fellas.
Dude,
Thank you,
thank you.
boys. Thank you so much.
Flex, check, diamonds in my veins.